The large alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. It was 2157, and humans had just started to explore Mars and the moons of Jupiter. The world leaders quickly gathered and chose Alan Wright to meet the visitors. Alan was 42, with short brown hair and serious eyes. He had worked as a diplomat for 20 years. Now he stood in a large room at the United Nations building, waiting for the aliens to arrive. "Are you ready?" Lisa Blackwood asked. She was a scientist who studied possible alien life. Her dark hair was tied back, and she looked both excited and nervous. "As ready as I'll ever be," Alan replied. "We're about to meet beings from another world. How can anyone be truly ready for that?" The door opened. 3 aliens walked in. They were tall and thin with blue-gray skin and large eyes. The one in the middle stepped forward. "I am Thorax of the Veldorian species. I represent the Galactic Federation. We welcome Earth to the wider community of spacefaring civilizations." Alan stepped forward and bowed slightly. "On behalf of Earth, we are honored to meet you. I am Alan Wright, chosen to speak for humanity." Thorax looked at Alan with what seemed like mild curiosity. "Your species has developed faster than expected. Just 50 years ago, you were limited to your own planet. Now you have basic colonies on Mars." As the meeting continued, Alan noticed something strange. The aliens were polite but seemed almost bored. They showed no fear or caution around the humans. They acted as if humans were interesting pets, not potential equals. Later, when the aliens left to return to their ship, Alan pulled Lisa aside. "Did you notice how they treated us?" he asked. Lisa nodded. "Like we're children. They barely ask about our weapons or defenses. Most first meetings between civilizations should have more tension." "Exactly," Alan said. "It's like they've decided we're harmless before even getting to know us." The next day, Thorax offered Earth membership in the Galactic Federation as a Class D developing species. This meant humans could trade with other worlds but couldn't vote on Federation policies or travel freely between stars. "This is the standard offer for young species," Thorax explained. "In a few hundred years, as you prove yourselves, you may be upgraded to Class C." In a private meeting room, Earth's leaders argued about the offer. "We should demand more," said General Harris, pounding his fist on the table. "They're treating us like we're nothing." "But we need their technology," another leader replied. "Think of what we could learn." Alan watched the debate silently. Something didn't feel right. The aliens were hiding something. They acted too calm, too certain that humans posed no threat. "What do you think, Alan?" the president asked. Alan looked around the room. "I think we should accept their offer for now, but keep our eyes open. They're not telling us everything. I want to find out what they know about us that we don't know about ourselves." As Alan left the meeting, he noticed a small alien watching him from the shadows. This one was different, insect-like with 4 arms and compound eyes. When their eyes met, the alien quickly looked away. For just a moment, Alan thought he saw something in those alien eyes. Fear. And that made no sense at all. What could advanced aliens possibly fear from humans? Alan didn't know it yet, but finding the answer would change everything. 6 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Federation. Alan Wright now worked at the new Galactic Embassy in Geneva. His job was to learn about alien cultures and help them understand humans. Alan's office overlooked Lake Geneva. He sat at his desk reviewing reports when Lisa Blackwood knocked on his door. "You need to see this," she said, placing a tablet on his desk. "I've been studying their weapons. They're strange." Alan looked at the screen. "Strange how?" "Their space travel is amazing. They can cross the galaxy in days." "But their weapons?" Lisa shook her head. "Some of our Earth weapons are almost better. It doesn't make sense." Before Alan could reply, his computer beeped. "That's my reminder. I'm meeting Cree for lunch." Cree was an alien historian from the Centauri species. He looked like a large praying mantis with green skin and 4 arms. Unlike most Federation aliens, Kree seemed genuinely interested in humans. They met at a small cafe that served both human and alien food. Kree was already there, his insect eyes watching people walk by. "Alan Wright, please join me," Kree said, his voice clicking from his mouthparts. They talked about Earth history for a while. Alan explained World War II, and Kree listened carefully. "Your species has a violent past," Kree noted, "but that is not unusual." "The Federation species seem very peaceful," Alan said. Kree's antennae twitched. He looked around to make sure no one was listening, then leaned forward. "Can I trust you, Alan Wright?" he asked quietly. Alan nodded. "Of course." "Your species file is incomplete," Kree whispered. "Someone has redacted your true history." Alan felt a chill. "What do you mean?" "I am a historian. I study all species in the Federation. But the file on humans," Kree's voice dropped even lower, "it has been changed. Parts are missing." "How do you know this?" "The file has markers. Signs of editing. I have seen this before with only one other species." Kree suddenly looked nervous. "I should not speak of this." "Please, Kree. This is important." Kree's insect eyes darted around again. "There is a saying among the oldest Federation members. Be glad the apes forgot their crown." "What does that mean?" A shadow fell across their table. A tall Veldorian official stood there. Alan recognized him as one of Thorax's assistants. "Historian Kree, you are needed at Central Records," the Veldorian said coldly. Kree stood quickly. "I must go. I have said too much." He hurried away with the Veldorian. That evening, Alan met Lisa in a secure room they had swept for listening devices. "Kree has been reassigned," Alan said. "He's leaving Earth tomorrow." "Right after your lunch." "That's not a coincidence," Lisa replied. "He said our file was redacted. That parts of human history are missing." Alan paced the room. "And I've noticed something else. Some aliens avoid humans completely. But others, the smaller species especially, they treat us differently." "Different how?" "Like they're being extra careful not to upset us. Like they're—" Alan searched for the word. "Afraid," Lisa suggested. "Yes, but that makes no sense. We're new to space. What could they possibly fear from us?" Lisa looked thoughtful. "The Federation claims they discovered Earth just recently. What if that's not true? What if they've known about us for a long time?" Alan stopped pacing. "We need to find out what's in that complete file. Whatever the Federation is hiding about humans, I think it's the key to everything." As they left the room, neither noticed the small drone that had been watching from outside the window. In a Federation ship high above Earth, Thorax watched the footage with concern. "They're asking questions," an aide said. Thorax nodded slowly. "They always do. It's in their nature." He turned to a screen showing Earth. "Increased surveillance on Alan Wright and Lisa Blackwood. If they get too close to the truth." He paused. "The truth must stay buried. For everyone's safety." Alan couldn't stop thinking about what Kree had said. 2 weeks had passed since the alien historian was reassigned off Earth. Alan had tried to contact him, but all his messages went unanswered. "We need to find that complete file," Alan told Lisa as they walked through the park near the embassy. They spoke quietly, careful not to be overheard. "I might have a way," Lisa replied. "I've been studying their computer systems. There's a main archive on the Federation station orbiting Earth. We can't just walk in and ask for classified files," Alan said. Lisa smiled. "No, but Kree might still help us. He's been reassigned to the station." That night, Alan sent a message to Kree using a private channel Lisa had created. To his surprise, Kree responded immediately. "I should not speak with you." Kree's message read, "But I cannot ignore the truth. Meet me at Docking Bay 7 tomorrow. I will help you one last time." The next day, Alan took a shuttle to the station. His heart beat fast as he walked through the curved hallways. The station was massive, a spinning wheel of metal with thousands of aliens from across the galaxy. Kree was waiting at the docking bay, his insect form hunched as if carrying a heavy weight. "You are being watched." "Alan, right," Kree said without greeting. "So am I. We do not have much time." "I need to see the complete human file," Alan said. Kree's antennae twitched nervously. "Follow me. Stay close." They walked through less-traveled corridors. Kree used his security badge at several doors. Finally, they reached a small room filled with glowing data terminals. "This is a restricted archive," Kree explained. "I can access it because of my historian status." His four hands moved quickly over the controls. "Here. This section is called Terran Threat Assessment. Classified beyond Ultra." Alan looked at the screen, which showed a locked file. "Can you open it?" "I am trying," Kree said. His hands worked faster. Almost. The door hissed open. 3 Federation security officers entered, led by a stern Veldorian. "Historian Kree, you are accessing restricted files without authorization," the Veldorian said coldly. Kree's body went rigid. "I was conducting historical research." "With a human present, in a restricted area." The Veldorian gestured to his officers. "Escort Historian Kree to detention. He will be evaluated for memory adjustment." As the officers moved toward them, Kree quickly pressed something into Alan's hand. "Find Mnemosyne," he whispered. The officers took Kree away. The Veldorian looked at Alan. "Ambassador Wright, your presence here is a serious violation. You will return to Earth immediately. This incident will be reported." Back on Earth, Alan met Lisa in their secure room. He showed her what Kree had given him, a small crystal data device. "Can you read it?" he asked. Lisa connected it to a specialized computer. "It's encrypted, but I can break parts of it." Her fingers flew over the keyboard. "There's something here. Fragments of records." Images and text appeared on the screen. Alan leaned forward, eyes wide. "These are records of human ships, space warships, but that's impossible. These dates, they're from 1,000 years ago." Lisa pointed to more text. "Look at this. It mentions the human solution and the mercy of forgetting. And there's a star map." Alan stared at the map. One system was marked clearly. Mnemosyne. "Kree told me to find Mnemosyne," Alan said. "What is this place?" Lisa checked another database. "It's a star system at the edge of Federation space. Remote. Barely visited." Alan stood up, his mind racing. "We need to go there. Whatever the truth is about humanity's past, I think we'll find it at Mnemosyne." "How?" "We can't just take a Federation ship." Alan smiled grimly. "We don't need to. Earth has been secretly building advanced ships using reverse-engineered Federation technology. I know someone who can get us one." Outside the window, hidden in the shadows of a nearby building, a small drone recorded everything. Miles away, Sorax watched the feed with growing concern. "They found the name," he said to someone off-screen. "Alert the Guardians at Mnemosyne. No one must reach the colony. Especially not humans." The small ship moved silently through space. It was Earth-built but used elements of Federation technology that Lisa had modified to hide their energy signature. Alan sat in the pilot's seat, watching the stars through the viewscreen. "We're approaching the Mnemosyne system," he said. "Sensors showed 2 planets. The second one has an atmosphere humans can breathe." Lisa looked up from her console. "I'm detecting artificial structures on that planet. And energy readings. Someone lives there." "Federation outpost?" Alan asked. "No." Lisa shook her head. "The energy pattern is all wrong. This isn't Federation technology." They landed on a flat plain near a cluster of buildings. The structures were a mix of styles, as if built by different species over time. As Alan and Lisa stepped out of their ship, they were greeted by a group of armed figures. A mix of different alien species they recognized from the Federation, but also some they had never seen before. "Identify yourselves," demanded a tall, reptilian alien. "I'm Alan Wright. This is Lisa Blackwood. We're from Earth." The aliens looked at each other with surprise. Some raised their weapons higher. "Humans," hissed one of them. "How did you find this place?" Before Alan could answer, an old voice called out from behind the group. "Let them through. I want to see them." The aliens parted. An old man with white hair and deeply lined face walked forward. Despite his apparent age, he moved with strength. His eyes, bright blue and alert, studied Alan and Lisa closely. "Humans," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Real humans from Earth. I never thought I would see my own kind again." Alan stared in shock. "You're human? How is that possible?" The old man smiled. "My name is Gregory Fletcher. And yes, I am human, just like you, but from before." "Before what?" Lisa asked. "Before the forgetting," Gregory replied. "Come, we have much to discuss." They followed Gregory to a large building that seemed to be a meeting hall. Inside, more aliens watched them with a mix of fear and curiosity. "How long have you been here?" Alan asked as they sat at a table. "In this colony, about 300 years, Gregory answered calmly. "But I was born on Earth over 400 years ago." Lisa gasped. "That's impossible. Humans don't live that long." "They do now," Gregory said. "But we used to, before they changed us." "Who changed us?" "The Federation," Alan asked. Gregory nodded slowly. "Yes, but first, you need to understand what humans once were." He leaned forward. "Humans weren't just another species in the galaxy. We ruled it." Alan and Lisa exchanged shocked looks. 1,000 years ago, humans had the most powerful empire the galaxy had ever seen. Gregory continued. "We expanded faster than any species before us. We were adaptable, aggressive, and incredibly innovative. Some worlds joined us willingly for protection and prosperity. Others didn't have a choice." "You're saying humans were conquerors?" Lisa asked, horrified. "Sometimes," Gregory admitted, "but more often we were traders, explorers, and diplomats. Our empire brought technological advancement to hundreds of worlds. We lived for centuries, not decades. Our minds were sharper, our bodies stronger." "What happened?" Alan asked. Gregory's face darkened. "Fear happened. A coalition of older species grew afraid of how quickly we were changing the galaxy. They fought back. After a century of brutal war, they finally defeated the human empire. And then they faced a choice," Gregory said. "Destroy humanity entirely, or find another solution." His eyes held deep sadness. "They chose what they called mercy. They quarantined Earth, erased our memory of the stars, and changed our very DNA to make us shorter-lived and less advanced." Alan felt cold. "They took our history from us, our potential." "Yes," Gregory nodded. "And they've been watching Earth ever since, making sure humans never remember what they once were, what they could be again." Outside the window, a small light appeared in the sky, a ship entering the atmosphere. "We have company," Gregory said grimly. "The Federation has found us." "We need to hide," Lisa said, looking nervously at the approaching ship. Gregory shook his head. "No, that ship doesn't belong to the Federation. It's one of our scout vessels returning." He smiled at their relief. "But the Federation will come soon. They always check when unknown ships enter restricted systems." "You said they changed our DNA," Alan said, bringing them back to the important topic. "That's a serious claim. Do you have proof?" "I have more than proof," Gregory replied. "I have the means to show you what was taken from you." He stood up. "Follow me." Gregory led them deeper into the building, down to an underground level. They entered a large chamber filled with strange equipment and glowing containers. "This is our archive," Gregory explained. "We've preserved everything. Historical records, genetic samples and technology from the original human empire. Lisa moved toward a shelf holding what looked like ancient artifacts. These are human-made. Yes. Gregory nodded. Human technology was once far beyond what the Federation currently possesses. After our defeat, they deliberately slowed technological advancement throughout the galaxy to prevent any species from rising as we once did. Alan struggled to believe it. If what you're saying is true, the Federation has been lying to us about everything. Not everything, Gregory said. Just the most important things. Your history, your potential. He walked to a medical table in the center of the room. I can show you. Your original genetic code is still inside you, just dormant. I can temporarily activate it. Alan and Lisa exchanged uncertain looks. Is it safe? Lisa asked. Completely, Gregory assured them. It will only last a few hours. But in that time, you'll experience what it means to be fully human. After a moment of hesitation, Alan nodded. I'll do it. So will I, Lisa added. Gregory prepared 2 injections. This will activate the dormant sequences in your DNA, the parts they suppressed. The injections stung briefly. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then Alan felt a strange warmth spreading through his body. His vision sharpened. Colors became more vivid. His mind felt clearer, faster. I feel. He couldn't find the words. More. Lisa finished for him, her eyes wide with wonder. I feel more of everything. Gregory smiled. This is how we used to be. All the time. With their enhanced minds, Alan and Lisa began to explore the archive. They absorbed information at an incredible speed, understanding complex concepts almost instantly. They learned that the human empire had indeed been powerful, but it wasn't built mainly on conquest. Humans had excelled at bringing different species together, creating alliances and sharing knowledge. Yes, they fought wars when necessary, but they also created art, music, and scientific wonders that benefited all species. The human solution wasn't a weapon. Alan realized as he studied an ancient text. It was a philosophy of progress. We believed in constantly moving forward, improving, evolving, which threatened the older species who preferred stability and control. Lisa added, connecting the pieces. They feared our unpredictability more than our weapons. Gregory nodded. Now you understand why they did what they did. Not out of cruelty, but fear. But they had no right to take this from us. Alan said, anger rising in him. To limit what we could become. Before Gregory could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the colony. Federation ships, one of the aliens called from a monitoring station. 3 of them, entering orbit. On the main screen, they saw the ships. Leading them was a vessel Alan recognized. Thorax's personal ship. They found us faster than I expected, Gregory said grimly. What do we do now? Lisa asked. Gregory looked at them both. That depends on you. Now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? The answer to that question would change everything. We need to tell everyone on Earth, Alan said, his enhanced mind racing with possibilities. Humanity deserves to know its true history. Gregory nodded. That's what I've wanted for centuries. But consider the consequences. The Federation will not allow it easily. They could cut Earth off completely, Lisa warned. Or worse. The colony's defense alarms blared louder. On the screen, they watched as smaller ships launched from the Federation vessels. They're sending troops, one of the aliens monitoring the sensors called out. Landing in 5 minutes. Gregory turned to Alan and Lisa. We don't have much time. Whatever we do, we must decide now. Alan paced the room, his thoughts clearer than they had ever been. The Federation has been holding humanity back. We could be so much more. He stopped and looked at Gregory. But I don't want a war. Too many would die. There's another way, Lisa said suddenly. She pointed to a device in the archive. What's that? A quantum transmitter, Gregory explained. It can send data instantaneously across any distance. even to Earth. Can it break through Federation communication blocks? Alan asked. Gregory smiled. It was built by the old human empire. It can do things the Federation has forgotten as possible. They worked quickly, preparing a data package containing the truth about human history. Not everything, just enough to prove what had been hidden. Lisa suggested they include the genetic information as well, showing how humans had been changed. People deserve to choose their own future, she said firmly. As they worked, the colony's defenders prepared for the Federation's arrival. Through windows, Alan could see aliens of different species setting up barriers and weapons. It was strange to see these beings, some who looked fearsome, ready to fight to protect humanity's legacy. Why do they help us? Alan asked Gregory as they finalized the transmission. Because they've seen what the Federation really is, not a union of equals, but a system designed to control and limit. Gregory replied. Some are outcasts. Others believe in freedom. All know that the galaxy was more vibrant when humans were at their height. A loud explosion shook the building. They've landed, someone shouted. Perimeter defenses are engaging. Gregory's hands moved quickly over the transmitter controls. The data package is ready. Once we send this, there's no going back. Earth will know the truth. Wait, a voice called from the entrance to the archive. Alan turned to see Xorax standing there, flanked by Federation security officers. Their weapons were drawn but not yet fired. Alan, right. Xorax said, stepping forward cautiously. Think carefully about what you're doing. You lie to us. Alan replied, anger in his voice. You kept the truth about our own history from us. Thorax sighed. Yes, but for good reason. He gestured to his officers to lower their weapons. Your ancestors nearly destroyed the galaxy with their reckless advancement. They upset the cosmic balance that had existed for millennia. That's your perspective, Gregory challenged. It is the perspective of hundreds of species who suffered during the human expansion. Thorax countered. He turned back to Alan. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to offer a choice. What choice? Lisa asked suspiciously. Accept a place in the Federation as equals. Class A membership with full privileges, Xorax proposed. In exchange, this truth remains buried. The alternative is complete isolation. Earth quarantined, cut off from all interstellar contact. Alan looked at the transmitter, then at Gregory and Lisa. This was the moment of decision. Before he could speak, Gregory lunged forward and slammed his hand down on the transmitter's activation panel. Too late for deals, he said defiantly. The truth is already on its way to Earth. Thorax's face hardened. One of his officers raised a weapon and fired. Gregory fell to the floor, a burning hole in his chest. What have you done? Thorax demanded, his calm facade cracking for the first time. Alan knelt beside Gregory, who grabbed his hand with surprising strength. Now, Gregory whispered, they'll remember who they really are. 3 weeks after Gregory's death, Alan and Lisa stood before the United Earth Council in Geneva. The large room was packed with government leaders, scientists, and media from around the world. Earth had changed in those 3 weeks. Gregory's transmission had reached every corner of the planet. At first, there was confusion and disbelief. But as scientists studied the genetic data and historians examined the historical records, the truth became harder to deny. The evidence is conclusive. Alan told the council. Humanity once ruled the stars. We were changed against our will, our history erased, our potential limited. On screens around the room, images from Gregory's archive showed ancient human ships, colonies on distant worlds, and technologies beyond current Federation capabilities. What do the Federation representatives say about this? Asked the council president. They've confirmed it's true, Lisa replied, though they justify their actions as necessary for galactic peace. Xorax had allowed Alan and Lisa to return to Earth after Gregory's death. Perhaps he knew there was no point in stopping them now. The truth was already spreading. The Federation has offered us a new deal, Alan continued. full membership as equals, access to their technology, and protection. In exchange, they want us to accept the past as unchangeable and move forward. Murmurs filled the room. "And what do you recommend?" the president asked. Alan took a deep breath. "Neither revenge nor surrender. I propose a third path." He stepped forward. "We are not the same humans who built an empire 1,000 years ago. We don't need to repeat their mistakes, but we also don't need to accept artificial limitations on our potential." Lisa joined him. "The genetic modifications they made to us can be reversed, but carefully, responsibly. We can reclaim our longevity and mental capacity without losing who we are now." Their proposal was bold. Earth would remain in the Federation, but on new terms. Humanity would reclaim its genetic heritage gradually. They would develop technology at their own pace, with ethical safeguards to prevent repeating the mistakes of the past. Not everyone agreed. Some wanted to break all ties with the Federation. Others feared changing what it meant to be human. The debate spread across Earth, dividing families and nations. 2 months later, Alan stood on the observation deck of the Federation station orbiting Earth. Lisa worked beside him, coordinating with scientists below. "The first genetic treatments begin today," she said. "Just for volunteers. Small steps." "And the Federation?" Alan asked. "Half their member species have agreed to our terms. The others," she shrugged. "They're watching carefully." On a nearby screen, a Federation observer was reporting to the High Council. "The humans know their history now, yet they show restraint. They're not rebuilding weapons or seeking revenge. Instead, they're focusing on extending their lives, enhancing their minds, and advancing their technology within ethical guidelines." Another council member responded. "Perhaps this humanity is not the same as the one we feared." "Or perhaps," said a third voice, "that is exactly what makes them dangerous." Alan turned away from the screen and looked down at Earth. From space, it looked peaceful, beautiful. But he knew the truth now. Humanity had been feared once, enough that an entire galactic civilization conspired to cage them. "What do you think happens next?" Lisa asked, joining him at the window. Alan smiled. "I think we show them what humans can really be. Not conquerors, not servants, but partners." He thought of Gregory's sacrifice. "We'll build something better than an empire, something that even the oldest species in the galaxy will eventually want to join." As their ship prepared to return to Earth, Alan took one last look at the stars. They no longer seemed distant and unreachable. They looked like home. The truth had been told, and now a new chapter could begin.